I what? Johnny, you may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently. Violent groups try to manipulate your anger and disappointment. You can take action now to protect yourself and others. So this is the page you get when you click on the Get Help section of "You may have been exposed to extremist information online. Get help? Close." This is what it says. What arguments do violent groups use to gain followers? Violent groups can be very persuasive. They often use feelings of fear, anger, and disappointment to further their cause and get others to join them. This may use arguments based on these feelings to convince you that violence is the solution, even when facts prove it is not. Understanding common arguments. Remember, people have lost friends, family members, and jobs because they were manipulated into joining violent extremist groups. You can protect yourself and others, those you love, by recognizing and better understanding some of the main talking points. Violence is the only way to achieve change. Effective change. Extremist groups may say violence is a legitimate and effective way to achieve change, but there is no evidence that it works. In fact, violence often makes things a lot worse and doesn't lead to the outcomes the group wants. Did you know that research has shown peaceful movements are more successful than violent ones at bringing social change? Violence is against the law. Supporting a violent group can negatively impact you and your family. If you use violence, you may risk your freedoms, future job prospects, and relationships. So all those peaceful protests were violent protests in retrospect. Is that what you're trying to say? Maybe. Did you know that many people who get involved with extremist groups see violence as a tipping point and use it as their reasons for leaving? For example, Frankie was a white supremacist who decided to leave in extremist groups once he saw that violence these groups used to hurt others, including children. Minorities are destroying the country. Some violent extremist groups wrongly say that the United States is to succeed, its citizens should all be of one culture. However, there are amazing benefits to diversity, and minority groups like immigrants contribute a great deal to American society. The American melting pot. They say it's a myth. For founding fathers like Thomas Jefferson and George Washington, it was a source of pride and patriotism that people from other countries wanted to immigrate to America. For example, Washington once wrote, "I had always hoped that this land might become a safe and agreeable asylum to the virtuous and persecuted part of mankind, to whatever nation they might belong." Agreed, open borders, but they have to share our culture. Americanism is the melting pot of culture. Hate groups oversimplify problems by blaming them on one group of people. Some people claim the problem is immigrants, while others claim it's the Jews, the black community, or other group. Immigration leads to a decrease in violent crime. Conspiracy theories about the Jewish people were created by Russian secret police in the early 20th century. They were used by Nazi Germany and the Islamic Republic of Iran to justify violence towards Jews. Did you know that Jewish people only account for 0.2% of the global population and do not exercise more power or control than any other group? Hate statements like the ones above are false and often oversimplified. They are used by violent extremists to manipulate their followers and learn how to prevent radicalization. We have partnered with Life After Hate, a nonprofit that provides supports to anyone who wants to leave hate behind. Keeping Facebook a safe place. So that's what you get when you... Is this helpful? No. Solution doesn't work. It falls under other. Oh, I get to type something. I'm going to keep that a secret. Well, that's what you get if you've been exposed to violent hate groups. Thanks, Facebook.